Hi, everybody. It's me, Jill, and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of Sister Wives, Season 18, Episode 3, Throwing Stones in Glass Houses. Oh, you guys, this was such a good episode. I feel like this episode kind of exemplifies why I'm obsessed with this show. It's just... Unlike Housewives, it's this same family, their family dynamic, and I just don't think you can write this stuff. And what's happening is like so authentic. These are not people who are, put in a group together and told that, they have to be friends and they have to go on a girls' trip together and they have to, I don't even know if things are planned, like trips or outings or something where we're forcing the family to be together. I don't even think that happens. I think it's just pretty damn authentic. And this episode is so good that you will not believe it's not scripted. Yeah, let's get into it. We start off in Oklahoma. And Cody is on a boys' trip, I guess. He's with his brother Michael and his dear friend Nathan and his friend Brian. And I guess, they like to go on these man trips every once in a while. So this time they're in Oklahoma at his friend Brian's house. And they've been to Brian's before. His brother Michael is in his mid-30s. So he's a generation younger than Cody. But I think he's just married to one woman. Nathan is also a polygamist, and he's been divorced, and he's going through the same thing Cody's going through with a wife that he loves at home and another wife who's leaving him. Their friend Brian is not a polygamist. Cody calls him mainstream. But apparently Cody has been using these guys as a therapy session ever since Christine left. Cody said, there's been this walk away from women movement going on. And, it's all about angry men who have been left. And Cody thinks that he's gotten caught up in that. So I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know if this is some incel group on Reddit that Cody has been deep diving into. Unclear. He's I've gone to talk to Robin and Janelle about it. Sorry, Mary. And they feel like I'm the woman here. First of all, ew. Secondly, did it ever occur to you and all your angry men friends that there might be a reason why your woman left you? Maybe a really good reason? Probably not. God forbid it's any of your faults. Cody goes, Robin actually said this is affecting our relationship in a terrible way. I bet she did. But according to Robin, she's all about, Cody's going through something really rough and we just need to support him. Nathan actually tells him, you need to look in the mirror at everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We cut to Robin's confessional where she said, I always encourage Cody's man time. I think it's important. I'm just shocked that a man that has 27 children and 4 wives has time for the boys. Let's just put it this way. If he does get man time, he's taking it away from somebody else. My guess is most of his children and, most of his wives. In Janelle's confessional, she goes, oh yeah, Cody used to go out with the guys and go on guys' trips quite often. When we lived in Utah, we used to call it Testosterone Tuesday. So this guy's taking one day a week for the boys? Jeez. Okay, now Cody is telling the men that polygamy can actually be a gift. Why? Because when you're not feeling one wife, what he said was, when one wife is kind of cantankerous and you're not really enjoying her, you can go to the other wife. Yeah. And then he tries to throw in at the last minute. Or if I'm the cantankerous one, maybe she's thinking, I'm glad I'm a sister wife and he can go off to another wife right now and give me some space. Or, and hear me out, how about you give each other a little space until you calm down and then you go right back and you figure out what's bothering the other person. Not just go spend some time with a wife who isn't in a cantankerous mood. They show the confessionals of Janelle and Mary responding to Cody saying that, and very different reactions. Janelle was kind of like, oh yeah, you hit it on the nose. And to be honest, I have always kind of had this feeling that Janelle really didn't need a lot of attention from Cody or want it. Actually, I think that the sister wives thing worked really well for Janelle because she like thrives on her alone time. And she got free daycare when she was working. And the kids were young. She got free daycare out of Christine. And then she only has to deal with Cody 1/4 of the time. So it's kind of a win-win for Janelle. Now, poor Mary, on the other hand, Mary actually loves Cody and wants to be around him more. So did Christine. So she did not appreciate his comment at all. She's like, he said that? That comment makes me want to vomit. Okay, well, now that's where Mary and I agree. But she goes, maybe look at the big picture and figure out how you can work through it together instead of just using someone else as an escape. She's like, are you kidding me? Unfortunately not. One of the guys, I think it was Brian, asked Cody, how are you going to feel when Christine finds another man? And he did admit that he might feel a little funny, like he might be kind of bothered by it. Oh, he will totally be. So Cody now tells the guys that he thinks what his big problem was with Christine was that when she said she hates polygamy, his reaction was like, what the hell? Like, how can you even say that? Without polygamy, you wouldn't have the kids. You wouldn't have me. Like, what's wrong with you? But what he should have said was, I'm sorry, baby. I know it's hard. Oh, God, you idiot. You think that's what the whole problem is? If you would have just said that, that's where you went wrong? Yeah. Not the fact that you didn't join her when your daughter Isabel was having surgery. You let Christine go by herself. There was early on, I think he was even when she was pregnant with Truly, wasn't he on a date with Robin or something when she went into labor? I don't know. It just seems like there were a lot of other things that he could have cited as the things that maybe he should have done differently. Just if he would have just said, I'm sorry, baby. I know it's hard. Oh, God. Then we immediately get Christine's confessional and she goes, no, it wasn't just hating polygamy. It was hating Cody. She goes, it was that after I gave so much, whatever he would ask me to do, I would do it. I gave of myself to the family. And when I needed help, Cody said no. Now, Cody in his confessional says, well, Christine was asking for things that were unrealistic for a woman in a plural marriage to ask for, just things that just weren't possible. Like he had to split his time evenly between the wives. And if she needed help with the kids or whatever, that's part of being in a plural marriage. Back to Christine's confessional, she said, yeah, no, he was very attentive to Robin and her children, but he acted like our children together were just mine and mine alone. Then Robin, after Cody saying it's just unrealistic for a plural wife to be asking for things like help with the kids and all that, we get Robin's confessional. And she says, yeah, since Cody's gone 3/4 of the time, I needed help with the kids, and I knew Cody couldn't do it. Yeah, couldn't ask your best customer to help. So she got a nanny. None of the other wives were afforded a nanny. Christine was the nanny. Yeah. But my question is, who's paying for the nanny? Because they pool all their money for anything they buy, really. Anyway, Cody's biggest lesson is that anger is a sword that stabs indiscriminately. Nathan's like, yeah. I don't know where he got that from. It makes a lot of sense. I actually like it. Do I think Cody came up with that on his own? Like, not for a second. Maybe it's a verse in the Bible or something, but Cody was just saying that, yes, because with this divorce with Christine, he realized that everyone was affected by it. His kids were affected by it. His other wives are, everyone's wondering what they did wrong because Cody walks around angry all the time. He does say that he's challenged by his relationship with Janelle, but that he thinks that they can talk through that one. You may have spoken too soon on that one. Sport. Okay, next, Janelle reminds us that before Thanksgiving, she had a conversation in Robin's backyard, 6 feet apart, that made it clear to her that they were going to be spending Christmas separately. And Cody is now coming over to her apartment to talk about it. They just clarify everything and where the kids are going and all that. We get a flashback to that time when Janelle tells them that the kids that are coming into town are staying in an Airbnb because she doesn't think that they're welcome at Robin's house. And Cody goes, I never said they weren't welcome. And Janelle goes, yeah, if they apologize, but they're kind of And Cody goes, no, I reversed that. And I said, all we need to do is have a conversation before we, sit down in our house like a bunch of alcoholics that had a fight last night and forgot what happened. Oh, God. So Robin said, they're renting a house here in town? And Janelle said, yeah, because everybody's coming this year. And Cody goes, everybody's coming? Janelle, well, everybody except Maddie and Caleb. Maddie's her oldest daughter. Caleb is her husband. They're the ones that live in North Carolina. And Cody gets mad and he goes, and I'm just finding this out? Oh my God, Cody, they're your kids too. Do you never talk to them? Does Janelle have to be the go-between between you and all of your adult children? I don't get that at all. I can't imagine my husband being like, what, Jade's coming? I didn't even know Jade was going to be in town. No, he doesn't do that because he also has conversations with my daughter. Dude, call them once in a while or even just ask about them. I'm sure if he would have had a couple of conversations about the kids with Janelle, she would have told him who's coming into town for Christmas and who isn't. The issue is that just made it glaringly obvious that he doesn't even talk to Janelle that much. And Janelle goes, Cody, you're the one that said not until they apologize. And Cody's like, I didn't say that. So now back at present day, which present day is still... This is before Christmas. Janelle in her confessional said, there has been no movement on either side. So I can't see that this is going to resolve itself. And again, this is mostly her and her boys. I don't think Maddie, Janelle only has 2 girls, Maddie and Savannah. And Savannah's the younger girl that lives with her. Maddie, like I said, she's married and has children of her own, and she lives in North Carolina. I don't know if I'm not sure what Maddie's relationship is like with Cody, really, to be honest with you. But I don't think she's part of this issue that started with COVID because she was not around anyway. Nor was Logan, and Logan is her oldest son, older than Maddie. Logan, I've talked about this before. He's the oldest of all of Cody's children. So he also doesn't live near them. This is more about her boys, teen, early 20s, her boys that Hunter, Gabriel, and Garrison, I guess, those 3 who were living with her, but they were also working and seeing their friends or seeing their girlfriends during COVID. And that's what Cody was so upset about, that they're out and about. They're going to bring it home to Janelle, and Janelle's letting it happen. And because of that, he can never go to Janelle's now because he doesn't want to bring it back home to his obedient, adoring family at Robin's house. And same with Christine. She was traveling too much. He didn't like it, but Christine's like, traveling, it's not like I was at Disney World. I went to see my adult children, stuff like that. So he just wanted them to take it more seriously. And as I've said before, Christine has said they were following CDC guidelines. Cody had a lot of extra stuff in there that they were not willing or able to do. Okay, so get ready, get your popcorn, get a snack, because Cody has arrived at Janelle's teeny tiny little apartment. It's very awkward at first. He's like, oh, it's cold out there. And he's fixing himself some hot water. Some hot water to drink, like a Beverly Hills housewife. Yeah, it's so cold. He just can't stay warm. So he's drinking his water hot. As he does that, he points out that her tree is so small. Yeah, dude, she can't fit a robin-sized tree in here. Janelle is sitting on the end of the couch, and this... Partly what's funny about this is throughout this whole scene, and it's a doozy, Janelle does not work herself up enough to get off that end of the couch. It all happens right from where she's sitting on one end of that couch. And I kind of love it. She just said, well, yeah, because the tree is small, because not only is the apartment small, but I'm going to bring it to the Airbnb. And he's like, oh, so who's coming? She said, well, Hunter's going to be here on Monday. So he's actually going to stay here at the apartment with her. And he goes, where? And she's like, oh, just, I don't know, an air mattress on the floor, I guess. In Cody's confessional, he said, this house rental, as much as it's probably my fault, it's like a knife in my heart. Okay, well, dude, at least you admitted that it's probably your fault. Because it is. Or Robin's, if Robin is the one that put that idea in your head. He's like, this little tiny Christmas tree is a symbol of the degradation of our family. And also, probably your fault. How about pick up the phone? Call your children yourself. Tell the kids you love them. Tell them you miss them. You don't have to solve the issue, but in the meantime, let them know their dad loves them and wants to see them at Christmas time. Anyway, so Cody asks Janelle, are you getting the rental house? And she said, yeah, well, Christine and I we're sharing it. I love it. Because Christine is coming like the day after Christmas or a couple days after. And Janelle's like, yeah, but, because she said that Isabel and Truly want to see you. And he goes, yeah. So Janelle said the boys were asking if I thought that you would ever come over to the Airbnb. And I said that I don't feel very optimistic about that. Cody, no, I'm not coming over there. I have a house. Yeah, a huge house with Robin. So why would you ever spend Christmas in an Airbnb? No, he goes, I have a house, so I have a place where we would have Christmas. Also, I'm sorry, the fact that he calls Robin's house his house, like I know technically it's a plural marriage and every one of the wives' houses is also his house. When they all bought their own houses in Las Vegas, when they all lived in the cul-de-sac, they owned those houses. Cody's name was on every one of the leases along with his wife. I'm pretty sure of that. Well, I mean, I guess that makes sense. They're his wives. He should be on the lease with them. But it's just very interesting that the only house he considers to be his is Robin's. You're also sitting in your own apartment right now too, Cody. I promise you, he has never spent a single night there. I remember when she first got the apartment and he saw it and all he did was complain about how small it was. And she's like, yeah. This is what we can afford. Yeah, no, this was wrong. That was wrong. He didn't like the nightstands. I can't read in bed because it's, and he felt cramped in there. And plus, you know what? I bet you Mary's house is almost as big as Robin's. Maybe not, but Mary's there all by herself. One single person in a really big house. Cody doesn't consider that his home. Anyway, they fight again about whether or not Cody had put the stipulation on spending Christmas together with the boys, like that you have to apologize or don't come. I'm so tired of this fight because Janelle keeps saying over and over and over again, but Cody, you told me that the boys had to apologize or they couldn't come over to Robin's. And Cody has said over and over again now, I mean, I'm saying for the camera, I changed that. I changed my mind about that. I corrected that. I'm saying it just has to be a conversation. But I do agree with Janelle in her confessional when she said, what kind of conversation could my boys have with him without issuing an apology to make it safe for them to come to Christmas? Now Cody complains that Janelle is not representing him very well to the boys. to his sons. And Janelle said, well, then you call them, Cody. Yes. Finally, the voice of reason. Cody's reply is that the phones go both ways. So Cody is basically a middle school girl in the body of a grown man. Well, I'm not going to call them first. He has to call me. Those are your son. You're the dad. And I'm sorry, but that kind of stubbornness is precisely why you are spending Christmas with very few family members in your big house. I think he's jealous because he knows that Janelle and Christine and all their kids in that whatever size, rental house that is, are going to have a blast. Anyway, Janelle's like, you keep flipping this stuff onto me, Cody. And he said, because it belongs on you, Janelle. And she goes, no, it doesn't. Why? Because you didn't support my stand when it comes to this COVID stuff. She said, I was protecting my kids and you told me, choose your loyalties or you're not going to have a husband. So I'm supposed to choose between you and our children? Janelle feels like now he's accusing her of what he accused Christine of and a lot of what he accused Mary of. He's like, parents are supposed to be a united front, which I agree with, but a united front doesn't mean that one parent makes all the rules and the other parent obeys them and enforces them. That's not a united front to me. A united front would be that the parents discuss what is the best course of action and they agree on something or they compromise on something, and that's what they present the children with. Dad and I or mom and I discussed this, and this is what we think is best for our family. That's a united front. You want her to implement your rules that she herself doesn't even agree with. That's going to be hard to do. And also, let's not forget, these are adult children, late teen, early 20s. So now begins the gaslighting portion of this conversation. And by that, I mean, this is when we use the word gaslight, gaslit, gaslighting, or some form of the word hundreds of times in the next 10 minutes. Cody starts by saying, I'm tired of being gaslit by you. And Janelle goes, you're gaslighting me. And he said, you need to stop throwing me under the bus to the kids. Now, I've heard people talk about this, like on podcasts and stuff. It seems like what most people think he's talking about are the diary room, the confessionals, that after the season airs and he's watching those and he sees what they're saying about him, that's when he gets all bent out of shape. And the fact of the matter is, that's how reality shows work. You're on a show, you're getting paid to be on a show, and yeah, they're being asked questions by the producers in these diary rooms, and they're answering them. And by the way, you do it too, Cody. You say a lot of stuff about them, but he is very butthurt about things that the wives say about him. So Janelle tells him, you act like this is my fault, and you call me the Teflon Queen. Isn't that what you said? So now she's throwing back in his face something he said in his own diary room confessional. And he goes, yes, because you weren't taking responsibility. Janelle, Cody, I did nothing wrong. I sat at home. I did what I was supposed to do, but it was never good enough. You wanted me to kick the boys out. And he goes, do you want this relationship to work? And Janelle goes, I don't know. Do you? Because when you say choose your loyalties, choose between me or your children. And Cody goes, now you're literally gaslighting me. Well, no, not if you did say that. And I tend to believe Janelle. So that's not really gaslighting. I think Cody wanted her to obey his rules for COVID. Janelle said what I said before. Janelle said, I followed the CDC guidelines. And Cody, you had more than that. She's like, it was never good enough, Cody. And I wasn't going to turn my boys out in the middle of a pandemic. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing here. It isn't like on the surface, you might think to yourself, well, did these women were they acting like the pandemic wasn't real? Were they being selfish and ignoring the rules that everybody else was following? It isn't even like that. Plus, I don't know if I have this wrong or not, but I don't believe that Cody got a vaccine. So it's not like she and Christine had total disregard for any of the rules of, COVID. So Cody says that the boys chose their social lives over, keeping the family safe. So for those of you who watch the show, you might remember the one-on-one interviews at the end of last season when Cody so crassly said the boys just wanted to get their pencils wet. So now he's saying, the boys chose their social life, but you, Janelle, you just keep putting the culpability on me and not the boys. Yeah. Not the teenage boys who just didn't want to go 2 years without seeing their girlfriends. So this gets even more heated, if you can believe that, with Janelle's yelling, what have I done? And Cody goes, I'm not even talking about the rules that I made for Christmas time, which were necessary because nobody was really being honest about what they were doing anyway. So now he's accusing the boys of not only going out and doing things socially against his rules, but he's accusing them of saying that they're following the rules when they really aren't. And Janelle she just pulls this immediately out after he says it, and she goes, oh, but you and Robin are just the paragons of honesty and perfection. Oh, that was good. And Cody goes, you know what? I just thought it was hypocritical to make one family do everything that I asked and not have everybody else do it. And Janelle goes, I asked for the rules back in March. And Cody's basically saying Gabriel knew the rules even before they were written down. So yeah, now Gabriel is the gaslighter. Janelle finally says, this goes way deeper than COVID, Cody. The kids are frustrated for a lot of reasons. But this whole, you need to apologize to Robin, to the whole family. Yeah, and I remember that from those one-on-one interviews. Like I said, when he said that about the boys just need to get their pencils wet, I could get this wrong, but like I swear it was in the context of like, how would they feel if like one of the little kids died? It was like that, dramatic, just so they could get their pencils wet. And I'm not laughing at COVID. I'm not laughing at how severe it was for some people, but your nanny got it. The person that's around your little children more than anybody else, probably. How would you have felt if Robin's nanny killed your children? Anyway, Cody goes, they admitted that they blamed Robin for everything. Yeah, a lot of people blame Robin for everything. And Janelle goes, well, when you were gone 4 or 5 months, they got angry. Cody, I wasn't gone 4 or 5 months. That's an exaggeration and a lie. Okay, well, it can't be both. That's why I call you the Teflon Queen, because you lied about what just happened. Okay, well, that doesn't make sense either. A Teflon Queen means she says things and it just slides right off. That's like the Teflon. Lying about something doesn't make you Teflon. And is she lying? It might be a slight exaggeration, but I would say, have you been spending time at Janelle's? Because no, you haven't. You barely came around. I remember the whole rigmarole of like, okay, everything's been wiped down and sanitized and cleaned. And then Cody would come over and he'd leave things out the door and but that was you hardly ever did that, Cody. You were spending less and less time at Christine's and Janelle's and more time just staying at Robin's. And I don't even count Mary in this equation because you never went to her house. There would be absolutely no reason. She doesn't have any children there for you to even visit. So it would just be to visit her, and that's not going to happen because you don't even like her. So anyway, Janelle goes, it's wild to me that you think I'm lying because I think you're manipulating. And he gets really calm and he goes, tell me how I'm manipulating. No. And he looks at the camera, breaking the fourth wall, and he goes, no. Tell the whole world. Yeah, tell the whole world and then go hang out with your buddy Christine. Okay. That's what's really bothering him too. That just sticks in his craw that she chose Christine over him. She chose Christine in the divorce. Yeah. Janelle has asked if she could go live with mom. This devolves into this fight where Janelle is accusing him of pushing her out the door now. You pushed out Christine, now you're pushing me out. And she said, I don't think you want to be in plural marriage anymore. She's like, it's been a week. You don't call. I never know when I'm going to see you or not. So he of course, puts it back on her. Do you ever make an effort? Not if it means she has to get off that couch. Because she has not moved once. He tells her that she made fun of him and his rules to the boys. And then she's like, have you ever co-parented with me? Ever, Janelle? Side note, again, that's not co-parenting. Co-parenting is coming up with the rules together, Cody. You don't understand that. And I think you don't understand because Robin treats you like her best customer. And you're the man, and you're the head of the household, and she obeys. She obeys you, and she has trained her children to also obey you. And you love it. You love it there. And that's why. Then he tells her, you co-parent with Christine. Why? There's a very good reason for that. First of all, when her children were little, Christine raised her children. She homeschooled them. Janelle went to work. She literally co-parented with Christine from day one. That's kind of how plural marriage works. The wives take care of each other's children as much as their own. And Janelle was a breadwinner, left early in the morning, went to work and was at work all day, came home late. Christine took care of her children, fed her children. She homeschooled them, and damn it, she had a meal on the table for Janelle at the end of a day. So they were the best co-parents. And now, Cody, you wonder why? You won't even call your children. What kind of a parent are you? All Janelle says is because you were never around. You were never available, Cody. And he goes, oh, that's what every plural wife says when she's, doesn't like how things go. And that's bull. And Janelle goes, oh, and Robin's so perfect? And Cody goes, when did I say she was perfect? When you're jealous, you bring her into this when she doesn't deserve to be. So again, Janelle goes back to, you're the one that said the boys couldn't come around until they apologized. And oh my, I'm almost on Cody's side about this because I don't want to hear that anymore. He's told her 100,000 times now that he changed his mind from that, or Robin changed his mind. Robin's probably like, Cody, okay, that's not working. They're not going to apologize to me. So now just say you want to have a talk. And then during the talk, you can get them to apologize. So now he's like, I corrected that and I apologized for it. And she goes, no, you didn't. And he goes, 4 weeks ago, I said, I apologize for that. I've changed my mind. And now I don't need an apology from the boys. I just need to talk to the boys. And Janelle goes, no, you said that was after we already made our plans. So I feel like I'm being gaslit. Oh, we are not done with gaslit yet, you guys. So Cody goes, you're just saying that because I said it. He's owning gaslight. Yes, Cody, you and 100,000 people over the last 3 years have been overusing gaslight. Anyway, Janelle chuckles and she goes, oh, I came into this conversation expecting to use that term. Oh, either way, I need you to both stop right now. So Cody gets very calm and quiet again. I think this is part of his manipulation, right? He yells, he explodes, he's loud, he's forceful, angry, scary. And then he gets eerily calm, which is equally scary, particularly, from your spouse, right? He says, Janelle, there's a problem in the family and everybody thinks I'm the bad guy now. So I don't expect to see anyone at Christmas. I don't expect to see you. You have cheated me out of contact with my family. No, Cody, she has not. Who's not taking responsibility now? You take no responsibility for that? Why does Janelle have to be the go-between between you and your children? They're your kids. They're your biological children. You're the dad. You create your own relationship with them. You don't like the narrative Janelle's putting out there about you? Then create your own narrative with your own children. I don't like that. And neither did Janelle. She said, that is not my fault. You ask them who they blame, Cody. And Cody goes, well, they blame me. Of course, they blame me because you do. And she said, no, I don't. And he goes, Janelle, I saw you just there. Mock my rules. So he must be pointing over to the corner where she does her confessionals. And that is exactly what he's talking about, the confessionals. And Janelle said, I've seen you call me names. And he goes, what? That you're lazy about the rules? That you won't take accountability? Janelle goes, Cody, in the very beginning, and he cuts her off. No, you make this excuse forever, but and Janelle, shut your fucking mouth and let me talk for a minute. Yes, this woman gets a lot done from that corner of the couch. Let me just say that. He was stunned into silence just for a second, and then he goes, no. No. And he gets up. She goes, you keep cutting me off. He's putting his coat on. Yeah, no wife is going to speak to him like that. He goes, there's no interest in understanding here. There's only bitterness that has no place. Pours himself some more hot water. One for the road. I don't expect you to back me up anymore, Janelle. I won't look for it. I won't ask for it. I don't expect you to help us co-parent the kids. It's too late. So what partnership do we have? He's right about one thing. It's too late. Most of them are adults now. I think really the only underage one is Savannah, right? So Janelle's like, this is not only me, Cody. Don't you dare point your finger at me. Cody drops his cup of hot water in the sink. And as he's walking out, he has to walk past where Janelle is on the couch because Janelle's not getting up. She's angry, but she can handle everything from where she's sitting. And the apartment is so small that she can probably reach everything from where she's sitting on the couch. So he has to kind of walk past her to get out the front door. And she grabs onto the sleeve of his jacket and she says, no, you stay and talk. And he yanks his sleeve out of her grasp. And he's like, no, I'm not going to because you're not listening. In this really creepy kind of condescending way. And she goes, you're not listening to me. And then he goes, and I'm not going to. Goodbye. He turns and Janelle goes, fuck you. Right before he slams the door. So good. And then she turns and now she breaks the fourth wall and she goes, shut it off. Then you hear the producer say, I'm cutting the cameras. And you can see that they were set up. The apartment is so small. They had to literally be backed into a bedroom to film the scene on the couch. So yeah, they're putting things away now. So I guess after they packed up, they left her apartment because this next little part looks like Janelle recording on her phone, honestly. And she said, so Cody just left. I wanted to keep the conversation logical, but I think he was just looking for an excuse. Then in what looks like a more professional confessional, she says, we were throwing accusations at each other and it was shocking because it felt like there was a finality to it. Now I'm worried about what happens to me. Do I live here? Do I build? Because it feels like Cody and I will no longer be a couple. She goes on to say, the feeling was we're done. And after a half hour and the shock wearing off, I called Cody and I said, come get your stuff. So in my mind, he's out of the house. But honestly, that scene was so emotionally charged and I think very authentic. I sometimes think, I love my housewives still, I really do. But I sometimes feel like even the new ones, they're sort of polished. They know what's expected of them. And, the ones that aren't quite as good at acting as the others, you can really see that this, maybe this anger came out of nowhere or, this fight seems set up, this conversation seems set up, that kind of thing. Not this show. And I don't think it's because they're excellent actors. I think it's real. And also, it's a family. It's one family. So, yeah, very interesting. So what Janelle says now in her confessional, I think is really pretty insightful. She says that their religion doesn't allow for divorce. They can't just end the marriage when things get tough. So Cody feels like he can't leave a wife because that makes him look bad. So he could never say, I'm no longer married to you. like kind of what he's doing with Mary. She said, but I know Cody's pattern, and it seems to be that he will just ignore a wife until she says it's over, thereby taking the responsibility off of him. That's what he does. She's 100% right. And poor Janelle, she is now realizing that she has nothing financially. As far as her estate goes, she said it's wrapped up in Coyote Pass. She said, I am a smart woman, but I have done this very dumb thing. I trusted in this family structure, and now I'm really stuck. I'm 50 years old and I have nothing. Yeah, so the family does kind of pool all their money together, and as I had said a couple of times, Janelle was really the breadwinner, or at least a major breadwinner early on. Cody worked full-time too, but I think the two of them together brought in the majority of the money for the family. Mary also worked, but I don't think her job paid much. Like it might have been a part-time job. I can't really remember back that far, but I really just kind of remember whatever it was that Janelle did, like in banking or something. I can't remember what her job was, but in any case, all the money was just pooled. And so when they needed to pay for something, it just came out of this big giant fund of the families. And for so many years, I used to question, where does all their money come from? Because they would throw these lavish parties. They paid for 2 weddings, Maddie's wedding to Caleb and McKelty's wedding to Tony. Those were kind of big affairs that I know the family paid a lot of money for. And then just like other, a huge family like that is expensive just on a day-to-day. But now you're like sending kids to college and all that kind of thing. So I feel really bad for Janelle because, here she's trying to save money by living in this tiny apartment. She did buy that 5th wheel. I don't know if she could sell that. She gave us a little bit of background. She said that when they moved to Flagstaff from Las Vegas, where I said they each had their own homes in a cul-de-sac, they each sold their homes. I feel like they lost money at the time that they moved. First of all, they were moving to a place with a higher cost of living, which never made sense to me. Since then, I have heard some chatter on podcasts and stuff saying that it really was all Robin's idea because her son Dayton was going to school there, going to college there, and she wanted to be near him. I mean, it kind of tracks. I don't know if it's true or not, but anyway, it made no financial sense that the family was trying to sell all their homes and move, and not have homes to move into either, by the way. They buy all this land, these acres of land where they're going to build. Cody had this idea that he wanted it to be one home with wings for each of his wives, but nobody wanted to live. Well, Janelle did, actually. Janelle thought it was a good idea. Christine was absolutely not. I am not going to live in the same house with the other wives, AKA Robin, because she did not want to be sitting in, the great room or whatever and watch her husband walk out with another wife to go on a date. And by other wife, she means Robin, because he was not dating Janelle or Mary. So she was an absolute no for living in the same house. And I don't really even think Robin wanted to do that. So anyway, the one house became 4 houses on the property. Each of the wives would have a house. That became 5 houses because Cody wanted his own house. Huh? Yeah, that was going to be sort of like centrally located. And also it would be near the pond so that no one would be jealous that anybody else had the pond as part of their property. So then they were parceling it out into 5. And I was just crazy, just a crazy nightmare. But that was going to be years down the road. So in the meantime, these women needed places to live and they had to enroll their kids in school there. And it was the most idiotic thing I've ever heard of. It made 0 sense for anybody. I guess maybe to Robin because she wanted to be near her son, but it made no sense at the time. And like I said, it wasn't even the right market for it. It wasn't even a seller's market. So these women were having a hard time selling their homes in the cul-de-sac in Las Vegas. They couldn't find homes in Flagstaff. They were in various rentals. Then Christine couldn't find a rental for her and all her kids, so she ended up having to buy a home, and all the money, all the down payments for these homes. And the same thing with Robin. She was in a rental, but then they were selling it, so she had to move and couldn't find another rental. So she's in this mansion on 6 acres or whatever. And they were really struggling to get the approval to get that one. But, they all pulled their resources. And then there's nothing left for Janelle. When Christine left, I may have said this last week, I'm sorry if I did. When Christine left, she sold her house and took the money from that and bought herself something in Utah. So she's out. I guess she gave up her 1/5 of Coyote Pass. So she doesn't own the land anymore. But what paid for Christine's house? I mean, that came from the family money. So the fact that she just got to take all the profit from that house for herself, I don't know. And poor Janelle, because she's the practical one and she's the one that, understands money. She did not want to buy a house. Cody, was saying, I told her she should have bought, but she, I feel like, is the only one that understood we need to pay off Coyote Pass or we're going to lose it. What she tells us now is they bought the land with the intention of building on it and, all living next to each other again. However, they put mostly cash down, but they had to get a private mortgage for the balance of it. And now if they don't pay that mortgage off by a certain time, and I don't exactly know what it is, but I feel like it was the end of the year, they will lose the property and all the money they invested in it. Janelle said that Cody just sticks his head in the sand and he doesn't really care about it because he has a nice house to live in with Robin. Side note, she just put that 5th wheel in storage because for some reason that can't be there. Or she only had the permit for 3 months or something. She had bought this big RV that she parked on their property. But there's no running water, plumbing, electric, none of that. So she was, in this RV with a generator, her and Savannah, her youngest. But she had to pack it up and store it for the winter. I'm wondering if she shouldn't just take that RV and go. Drive it, park it in Christine's driveway in Utah. And live with her. Either that or sell it and take that money and try and find something. In Cody's confessional, he's like, yeah, I have a house with Robin. We had to house her children somewhere. What about Janelle's children? Oh no, they can be out on the street. He said, I tried to talk Janelle into buying a house. We had the means to do that. You did? Then why don't you pay off Coyote Pass? I don't know. He's like, she has ownership in Coyote Pass as much as the rest of us do. So I don't know. He's like, I don't know what she's talking about. I don't know who's right here. I don't think she should give up her right to whatever they get for Coyote Pass. I mean, Flagstaff is a desirable area. I don't know about Coyote Pass in and of itself. I don't even think they did enough research into it, but it's got a beautiful view. So somebody should want it. I say pay it off and sell it and divide that money. Christine has already waived her rights to any part of that. So you divided it. Janelle, Mary, take your shares and move on. Janelle doesn't know what to do about it, but she said, I have people I can talk to. I can talk to Christine and Maddie. I do love that she's close to Christine. And Maddie, like I said, that's her oldest daughter. All right, now we are in Salt Lake City with Christine. And she said this is the first time in 27 years that the family has not been together for Christmas. She's excited to go to Flagstaff a couple days after Christmas because she really misses Janelle and Janelle's kids. She's like, I miss them like crazy, which I do understand because she raised them. Like I said, she homeschooled them. I mean, it is a little bit sad that she doesn't miss Robin's kids, but I do understand. What about Leon, though? I wonder if she misses Mary's kid. I feel like they would have been close to Christine also. They were homeschooled by her, and they were part of that whole thing with the kids that age. I don't know. Side note, for those of you who don't know, Leon was Mariah growing up. that's Mary's only child, and they now prefer to go by Leon. Next, we see a cute little Zoom call with Christine and Garrison. Garrison is Janelle and Cody's biological child, and he is asking Christine for her recipe for her rolls, the grandma's rolls that he wants to make because he's going to his girlfriend's for dinner, I guess. So she's like giving him the recipe over a Zoom call. She also said she's excited about going to Flagstaff because all of the traditional things that they did when the whole family got together, like having Grandma Janelle's rolls and some of the traditional things they did for the holidays, they're going to do all of those together. So it's another reason why I feel like that's the place to be for Christmas and not Robin's house. I mean, it is sad, but I personally would much rather spend it with Janelle and Christine than Cody and Robin's sad friend Mary that won't go away. Now we get Cody's version of the aftermath of his time at Janelle's house. He and Robin show up at Mary's house and they're outside in the backyard, 6 feet apart. Why? What is it? Do they even know what they're doing with COVID? Why are they outside 6 feet apart? First of all, he just came from Janelle's where he was inside sitting on the same couch with her. So if she is living this wild COVID-infected life, then Cody just brought it home to Robin. They're bringing it to Mary. Why can't they go in Mary's house? There's no one in Mary's house. Mary is apparently also obeying all of Cody and Robin's rules. So go inside. It's freezing. You were drinking hot water, for God's sake. Also, wasn't Mary just in your house for Thanksgiving too? I don't understand this. Oh, is it the camera crew that Mary won't let in her house? Maybe? I don't know. Maybe Janelle and Christine can't follow Cody's rules because they're all over the place and they don't make sense. Sorry. At the risk of sounding like Janelle, I need the rules in writing. I don't understand them. Side note, I have heard people talk about this before, but no one can figure out why Mary has that baby swing in her backyard. Who is it for? I don't know. Anyway, they are at Mary's to talk about Christmas plans. And Cody goes, I don't know what there is to talk about. And Mary said, well, what's Janelle doing? And he said, she and Christine have rented that Airbnb. And Mary goes, I thought Christine wasn't coming until after Christmas. And he said, yeah, she is. But I think they're trying to shut me out because they're mad at me, he says. So Robin is doing her best acting job here. She's asking Cody questions as if she didn't hear all about his time at Janelle's in the car on the way over to Mary's. Come on. The second he got home, he probably blasted her with everything. And then she said, "F you." Then she told me to shut my fucking mouth. All the highlights. So Robin is, are they trying to make Mary think that they don't live together? Come on. Everybody knows where Cody lives. Anyway, Robin's just like acting like she's hearing for the first time what happened at Janelle's. And she's scared, of course. Of course she's scared because that's her whole persona. I just don't know what's going to be happening to the family. I'm scared because what does this mean for the family? Well, it's not good. Cody tells them that he and Janelle were shouting at each other over who split up the family over COVID. Cody's like, the boys aren't talking to me. And Mary goes, have you tried? Good question, Mary. Cody lies and says, yeah, I tried. I basically called everyone. Okay, first of all, what? You called everyone? You have an issue with your boys. You're specifically Gabe and Garrison, maybe Hunter too, but those boys are the ones you have an issue with. So to say I basically called everyone doesn't exactly answer the question. The other thing is you just said at Janelle's house, the phone goes both ways. So you didn't talk to them. You're waiting for them to call you. You just basically lied to Mary, which I guess doesn't matter because Mary doesn't matter to you. Cody's like, they're all telling themselves the same story, that dad's a bad guy. In Mary's confessional, she said, everyone being apart for Christmas is just weird. Maybe it would be better if I just holed up in my house and not be around anyone. As sad as that sounds, it's probably for the best. I don't think it's better that you're hanging out with this married couple, Robin and Cody, when you know your girlfriend's husband doesn't like you. But also, where's Leon and Audrey? Audrey is Leon's girlfriend or fiance. I don't know. Where are they? And why are you not spending the holiday with them? Or, you know what? You should do a fun, like old-fashioned Christmas at your B&B in Paragon. Like do a little, you could have a Santa, you could something for like guests or the people in the town or just like anything other than hanging out with your girlfriend and her husband and their kids. Cody actually says that Janelle is colluding with the others against him. In Mary's confessional, now she's being very insightful. And she said, you know, when you're very angry, you can only see one side of it. Like you can only see your side of the situation. But maybe Janelle isn't ganging up on Cody. So the plan is to have Christmas Eve at Mary's house and Christmas Day at Robin's. Mary is kind of sad because she used to make pajamas for all the kids, and we see some flashbacks to more innocent times, and she just thinks that now Christmas just doesn't have the magic that it used to. Which, I mean, to be fair, that happens anyway when the kids get older, but I know what she's talking about. So now she says, so do I invite Janelle and the kids who are in town, or do I not? And there's a long pause, and Cody said, how do you want to do Christmas Eve, Mary? And Mary goes, well, I don't know, Cody. I have no idea. I feel stuck in the middle. You have Christine who left, you and Janelle are at odds with one another, and I'm just here, like a third wheel. Do I call them when you guys are all at odds? Silence. Side note, I think she should invite all of the kids to her house. It's big enough. We don't film like inside either of their homes, but from the outside anyway, Mary's place looks huge. And I think it would be so cute, especially because the family's so fractured right now, if she did her thing where she makes, maybe she can't make pajamas. She said she used to make them when there were fewer kids. Go ahead and, you know, give them all LuLaRoe leggings. I don't know, whatever you want to do. Buy pajamas or something for all the kids. Invite everybody for Christmas Eve. Just invite them. Maybe they won't all come. That's okay. Just extend the invitation. Have some fun games planned or something. Try to make it a little bit like the old days. I think that's what Mary should do. Stay neutral, invite everybody. But after a little bit of silence, Robin, and I know everybody out there was on to Robin before I was. She has been called the master manipulator, controlling Cody. I don't know. I guess I always kind of bought it. I fell for her. I don't know. But this time it felt really obvious to me. Robin said, ooh, I don't know. That sounds scary. If you invite them without them having a talk first, I feel like there's going to be a fight. Uh-huh. Okay. And what? It'll ruin your Christmas the next day because why? Because it's just going to be you, your kids, and Cody's going to be in a terrible mood. Yeah, that's what I think. I think she's worried about her Christmas and Cody not being his fun-loving self. So basically, Robin really is the bug in Cody's ear. She's the one pushing for the talk. She probably said something. I'm not sure she actually came out and said the boys owe me an apology, but she may have acted victim-y enough to make Cody feel bad for her. The boys, I think it was my fault. You know, like, to make Cody come up with the idea himself that they need to apologize to Robin because, you know, she was probably crying about it. And now she is the one who doesn't want Mary to invite Janelle and her kids to Mary's house when Mary can do whatever the hell she wants in her own house. Thank you very much, Robin. But yeah, now Robin doesn't think it's a good idea. Thinks it's scary. I mean, honestly, Cody was leaving it up to Mary. He said, what do you think, Mary? What do you want to do? Mary says that she feels like she's working very hard to be a part of the family. And in her confessional, Mary said, it's awkward for me. I'm not in the Robin and Cody marriage club, and I'm not in the Christine and Janelle friend club. She said if it were up to her, the whole family would be together for Christmas. Then she makes a very important distinction. She said, if I go to their home, I'm going to Robin and Cody's house. If they come to my home, they're coming to Mary's house. Not Cody and Mary's house, but my house alone. And if they go to Janelle's apartment, it's not Cody and Janelle's apartment. It's just Janelle's apartment. Yeah, of course. So Cody, I think, can see where Robin wants this to go. That's my opinion anyway. And he said that he just really wants to just be around people that want to be around him, AKA are loyal and devoted to him. He said he's not even sure where things stand with him and Janelle. This must have been before he got the call from her a half hour after he left her house saying that she wanted him to come and pick up his things and get out. So then Robin looks at Mary and said, so are you gonna invite everybody? Mary, probably not. Your work here is done, Robin. Good job. In her confessional, Mary said, people think I'm picking sides, that I picked Robin and Cody. If I happen to have Christmas with Robin and Cody, it's because Robin and Cody are interested in having me around. Well, you're half right. Cody doesn't want you around for Christmas or ever, really, if I'm being frank. And Robin only wants you around for selfish reasons. I don't trust Robin's motives for wanting you around, Mary. I think Robin doesn't want to be in a monogamous marriage. She wants to be in a plural marriage. And I think she sees the writing on the wall with Janelle. So without you, she's going to be his only wife. And that's not what she signed up for. She doesn't want to be an only wife. She wants to be a favorite wife. But it's incredibly selfish of Robin to keep asking Mary to hang in there, hang on, don't leave. No friend would ever push for their friend to be in a loveless marriage. I'm sorry, but no good friend would ever do that to you. Anyway, it ends with a burning bridge metaphor. Cody thinks that the whole family is just watching the bridge burn and walking away and waiting to see like what happens, if it'll be strong enough to hold or collapse. Okay, but then we get previews and I have so much to say about them right now. It's Christmas morning at Robin's house. And we rarely film in Robin's house at all. I think we've only seen part of her kitchen and like the dining room table for Thanksgiving when Mary was there last year and made the Rice Krispie treat turkey, which sounds good and very cute, by the way. I feel like I want to steal that idea. Anyway, that's the only time we ever really filmed inside her house. I don't know what the rest of it looks like, but okay, you guys, it's Christmas morning. The kids are like coming up from their rooms or whatever, and they come around the corner and you just see them go, like they're looking at something. I promise you, it's not a 3-foot tree like at Janelle's. It's probably a giant tree with a mountain of presents around it. But there's so much to see in this one shot. I cannot stop staring. First of all, does Robin like have a phobia of like wall space? Because every inch of her walls are covered in crappy art. Like what is that, a deer in a fire? What is that one? Then there's a table and a chair, and the chair looks like it's in flames. There's 2 really bad beach scenes. One with a martini glass, which I feel like they don't drink alcohol at all in this family. So that giant martini in the foreground seems like a pretty strange choice. There's a stupid little plaque that says, "Pardon the mess, my children are making memories." Yeah, in hell? What's with all the flames and stuff? Your children are having nightmares. But then I wasn't going to mention this, but now I am going to mention it because, all right, listen. I do not care for people passing judgment on others' parenting. And I really don't like people talking about children on these reality shows, even though, yes, the parents are bringing the children onto the show. And of course, it's going to be open for judgment. But I generally don't partake because I don't like it. Until now, I just have to mention something. And there's a reason I'm mentioning it. But if you look at Ariella, who is, I think she's like 7, She has her little baby stuffed animal and a binky in her mouth. I am mentioning this only because, in my opinion, this speaks to Robin's control and infantilizing her children. I don't think she wants them to grow up. I think this speaks to her 19-year-old getting her ears pierced and as excited as my 7-year-old was when she got them done. It's odd and it's weird. And I think it speaks to not only her control, but also how she can get them to obey Cody and be devoted to Cody. And the fact that Cody likes this is creepy as hell to me. Look, do I wish my daughter had, listened to me more when I would tell her to do something, clean her room or whatever? Of course. Of course I do. Do I wish I didn't go through the torment of her teen years where the sight of me disgusted her? Sure. I'm exaggerating. But, do I wish that she was devoted to me? No, I don't want a Stepford child. I think it's creepy. That's my opinion. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. That's it for me. I went way too long. Thank you so much. This show is amazing though. And this episode was stellar. I hope you liked it as much as I did. If you liked my recap, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. If you click on the bell icon, you will be notified every time I post something new. I love you guys. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye.